Well, it's been a while, so let's get sad about it. NERDSoul. Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people? Today, coming with another wonderful episode of On Screen. We've made it to the end. No more finito, no mas. You will not ever see this show again, regardless of how good it was, how creepy it was, how scary it was, how into the characters we had a chance to get. All of that wonderful stuff wrapped together in an awesome way. It hurts. But we're getting into the finale of the series. Yeah, that's right, Swamp Thing. And first up, I want to talk about just Alec himself. Alec has been, of course, transformed. And in these last couple of episodes, he's been dealing with just his identity. What is he? Who is he? And what does that mean here going out? And it poses a lot of questions, and it shows him deal with a lot of emotion in his eyes, in his body posture, especially around Abby, that it matters a lot. And it shows how deep they were trying to get with this show. It shows how much they were trying to, I guess, what would be the best way to say it? How much they were trying to endear us to the psyche of this man, of the Swamp Thing, of Alec and what he's become. And this whole show has done a good job of that, but in these last two episodes, dealing with seeing, his corpse, dealing with the fact that he is not that physical body. Like, it's not that physical body, wrapped in plants. It's, something completely different, a complete transference, if you will. And him not completely making peace with that, but letting that die is something, dragging it back to the swamp and probably just giving it up and letting it go. Because they could have, of course, taken the bones and given it to forensics, and they could test it and I guess, arrest or indict, Avery or something like that. But it seems like he's just ready to let that go and move on, and, bury that and just let the past be the past, which is something that I guess is understandable. It hurts because, we know, what I'm saying, we're watching the show. We know, like, yo, Alec, you're still you. You're in a different, like a caterpillar and a butterfly, it's the same being. It just goes through a transference. You went through a transference. You changed. You transformed, but you're not less than a man. You're not that man. You are this. You are the essence of Alec Holland. You are his spirit, his soul. You're just in another container. You know what I'm saying? So seeing him struggle with that was something that showed just how much they cared about this character and the lore in general, which is something that I truly appreciate about the show. Just dag. They really did a good job nailing down who Alec was and who Alec was going to be once he became Swamp Thing, which is something that I really dug. Also, to talk about this episode, Abby, and a couple of her connections. I'll talk about Abby and Liz first. In the last episode, we talked about how Abby and Liz, when it comes to their connection, seems genuine. And, in the first episode, when I was chilling with CKR, aka Chauncey K. Robinson, she's dope. And I was talking about how I didn't think she would have a large role in this show. And Liz wasn't like a huge character, but what she did mattered. And even more importantly, her and Abby seemed like real friends. And they got a chance to really get into that, like the ride in the Jeep when the spirit, like the dark spirit, was attaching to people like every time they got scratched or bitten or something like that. So that conversation there, the conversation when she was getting ready to go to Maria, when Maria let her daughter's, soul in or whatever in the darkness, those moments, and even the moment in the finale where you see they've already gone through, everything that went on at the medical facility that Woodrue and Avery were running, their chemistry was on point, and they seemed like old friends that were kind of picking up where they left off. And that's another thing that I just got to credit to this show, that it's hard sometimes to get people that look like they are interested in each other while on screen. And I mean, of course, you have to do chemistry tests and stuff like that. But even with chemistry tests and things of that nature, sometimes it just doesn't work. Like, these people might not seem like boyfriend and girlfriend, or they might not seem like father and son, or they might not seem like sister and brother or whatever. But here they genuinely did seem to be like friends. And I think that mattered a lot, because even though, like I said, I don't think she was in every single episode, but she did some things that mattered. She helped push along the plot in a couple of different interesting ways, and became she was a different but equal person to Abby. Like, she wasn't a doctor, but in her investigative way, in her, kind of her stance in that town of Moray. I think it's Moray. In that town of Moray, she definitely made her presence known, and I thought that was dope. So that's another thing that just, man, the show is gone now. It will never be able to, and I'll come around to some stuff later. But guys, before I move forward, I want to know from you, do you think we got enough time with Liz on the show, or do you think we got enough time with Delroy on the show? Especially knowing the difference between him and his daughter's stance on Avery, also with Avery owning the watering hole. I can't remember the name of the spot, but the bar of the town. Let me know. Do you think she should have got more time? Do you think Delroy should have got more time? Because they kind of threw him threw him on us, but what we got from him, it was on point, man. Another actor even an actor that's in 3 episodes, even he shines. But to Swamp Thing, my question to you before I get to some more questions after the break is, do you think we'll see Swamp Thing again? Maybe not the show, but do you think we'll see the character of Alec Holland and the young man that's in the suit, and I can't think of his name, in the prosthetics and all that. But do you think we'll see Swamp Thing, the character, again? Now, before the break, I do want to talk about Lucilia and Matt. All right, let me just get this out of the way. Matthew Leroy, if your middle name is Leroy, your daddy black, and Avery is not black. I think Avery lied to him, I don't think, dude, Leroy, it don't get, there's only a few names that you hear and you're like, that's a black person. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Leroy, all right, look, hey, I know Leroy's, I know. So I'm just saying, hey, look, daddy probably black. So I don't know if we ain't gonna go out that route. But Matt, with his destructive behavior, his falling out mentally, with having to do what he had to do with killing Alec, then dealing with his mom and finding out all the dirt between that, and then being told that his father is Avery, there's a lot of pain in there. And I'm, to a certain degree, glad that him and his moms had a moment to, I guess, reconnect, sort of. He wasn't extremely pleased when he got in the car drunk and all that stuff, but at least they did have a moment of sorts before, of course, Avery caught her slipping in the whip. And this is another connection that I thought worked well. I don't think the connection with Lucilia and Matt worked as well as, like, say, Abby and Liz, or Abby and Alec. But I did get the vibe of someone who's trying to be in his, his mom's shoes, the family business. She's a cop, I'm a cop, and having fundamental differences of what being a cop is, one, and also fundamental differences on how to punish someone. We heard when he found out that his dad was still alive, which I think the jury's still out on that, but finding out his dad's still alive, him saying that, he's glad. He was actually glad that, his dad's not dead. So, it's tough to see where Matt ends up now, and we'll never know, but who knows what kind of destructive path he would go on after his mom goes missing, and probably having a good idea that Avery had something to do with it. Also, with that being said, with Avery doing what he did to Lucilia, will we see Lucilia again? Will the swamp accept her, or will the darkness take hold of her? Because, see, I was thinking that the darkness was going to take hold of Avery, but I mean, I guess he already dark, so he already evil. But I was expecting, that to take a hold of him. So maybe we could see her in the future, or of course, maybe her story's ended because the series is just over. But I did like that scene with Avery and Lucilia at the end, because that is something that I did not see coming, yo. I did not. I thought that was something that would end up playing out, say, in season 2, as a B storyline with, all the other craziness that's going on with Alec and Abby and Liz and all that stuff. But here you see homie caught her on a slip. And he was like, clack out, she was gone. So with that said, I got some other things to get to after the break. And I also want to talk about the series as a whole, or I guess the season/series as a whole. But first, KURO Brand's going to help us pay them bills.
Hello everyone, Robert Roach here. I am the owner-operator of Black Ink Imprints. We make Menthu, The Roach, award-winning. But on top of that, I'm the guy who's drawing Lion of Judah, and it's Bob Marley, Haile Selassie, all that kind of stuff, all that goodness. That's about me. But you're really here for NERDSoul. I know you're gonna love it.
Oh yeah, check that link below. Hats, shirts, hoodies, all that jazz. And once you find something you like, of course, cop it. Now let's get into Maria, who for me was a very nuanced character, dealing with the loss of her daughter, dealing with let me back it up, because her daughter has been gone for quite some time, but still mourning, still in mourning, still grieving, and still wanting her to be here, and not really. I don't want to say the term get over, because I know you're probably like, yo, it's her daughter, man. Like, yo, you can't say when she's supposed to get over it, but you know what I'm saying? By now, it's been years, it's been years and years. And I mean, you do, and this is no diss to anyone who has lost mother, father, brother, sister, all that. But, of course, you're in the land of the living. You got to keep living for the living. And, she's kind of letting life pass her by. The husband, well, it's not like Avery was really, into her anyway. He's more into that money. But her kind of being stuck in that period where she lost her daughter took hold of her, and it controlled her, and it was her demise. What I did think was sweet about her end was Madame Xanadu coming to her and giving her some peace. You know what I'm saying? Giving her something to ease her pain, something to enjoy, giving her what she wanted, essentially. You know, Avery, knowing Avery good and well is not going to let you get up out this insane asylum. So, you know, the best thing that she could do is give her a piece of what she loved and lost. And I thought that was beautiful. Like, Madame Xanadu didn't have to do that. We don't really know the extent of the relationship, but I thought that was something lovely and gave us a cracked door or a slight, you know, look or, you know, peek through a window at what their relationship was, you know, how much it meant, you know, when we see her come to Xanadu earlier, we're just like, oh, she's just going to her because she's the lady people go to. And now seeing her take that time out to go to her and do this shows a deeper respect or a deeper care for her, which I thought was extremely dope. Question for you. Does Xanadu pop up anywhere else? Because since this is DC Universe, even though Swamp Thing is gone, we don't have to technically lose the characters. They could pop up somewhere else, aka Doom Patrol, aka Titans, which is coming back like next month. So, you know, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Just keep that in your head, just in case. I also want to talk about the Woodrows. Okay. The Woodrows are an interesting look at fighting for, or maybe chasing after something that you can't have, or not accepting the truth. And what I mean by that is his wife was on some, yo, look, I have this disease. It's getting worse. It's, you know, there's going to come a day when I will not remember you. I won't know anything. And he's not able to make peace with it, so much so that he will experiment on an unwilling, I could see if Daniel had, you know, like informed consent, you know what I'm saying? But dude was in a coma. Now, of course, I guess you could say, you know, he did, you know, revive him with this, but his reckless abandonment with just science in general and the way he practiced was not only a danger to those around him, but himself and the demise of his wife, which made it even worse. He should have been with his wife while she was going through what she went through. Instead, you know, of course, going to essentially trap and torture Swamp Thing, and, you know, you see what happens. Now, with all that said, you know, he cooks up the heart and the liver, I think, and, you know, goes to feed it to her, but he's like, you know, I'm not going to give it to you without testing it myself. You know, he tested, you know, we see a little bit of powers, and we'll talk about post-credit in a second, but we see a little powers, but we see how dangerous it was for him. And we saw in her eyes, and the young lady who's the actress that played Mrs. Woodrow, I don't know her name. I've seen her in other stuff, but she, in her eyes, in her facial, not too much facial expressions because of course she was kind of like paralyzed, but in her eyes in that moment, she was really giving it her all. And she turned a role that was essentially kind of like a side character. Like, old girl was in like total like maybe 3 episodes, but she did a good job of showing the side of her husband that kept pulling like, look, just accept it, deal with it. There is not like, yo, it's okay. We've had a good life. Let's leave. There's no reason to stay here. Don't trust Avery, blah, 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 that type of stuff. And Homie was just not listening. Homie was not feeling it. And I think we or she unfortunately learned a hard lesson from that. I guess lastly, I'll jump on, well, maybe not lastly, but Blue Devil. Seeing the comic books, seeing a little bit of meta, nature, seeing a little bit of like folklore thrown into it, I thought was cool. And that's another character that I wonder if he's starting to realize what he did that night. And if he does realize what he did that night, is he going to try to harness that power, or is he just going to run and never come back? He did, of course, drive past the city limits. So, what he kind of served the purpose he was there to serve, which is essentially save Abby and Liz. So now their lives have been protected, to fight another day. And I wonder if he'll ever come back. I wonder if Murray will ever call him back to service. But either way, seeing him go to work in episode 8, 9, I think 8 was awesome. just straight awesome. Like I did not expect. Okay, Blue Devil is a weird character, all right? And I should have understood that after seeing Doom Patrol that, they kind of got a handle on what they want to do. Blue Devil ended up being a character that I was like, okay, I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at all. And seeing that he doesn't need a suit for this, or at least we assume, like, when he finished, burning all the guys to death, like he was just butt naked. So, I mean, I guess he don't need no suit. I guess he just transform and then, all his clothes rip off or burn off or something, whatever. But wondering if he ever comes back, if he ever comes into contact with any other stuff that's weird, or if he comes in contact with Swamp Thing, in the future. But I mean, of course, series is over, maybe, but we'll see. But absolute last but not least that I want to touch, before we get into just stuff down in the comments and chilling and hanging, Avery and this military and Ellery and the company. Wow. Seeing Avery roll up to them when they were like setting up the military and all that and getting kind of approached by Ellery was cool. It was nice to see Avery get put in his place. We also saw Avery do some dirt. He's not afraid to do his own dirt. Like, homie, killed and buried the body when it came to Lucilia. Avery ended up being a great villain that doesn't have powers. Normally you'd be like, Swamp Thing, they're gonna, have to fight or something, and maybe he'll get powers or something. And technically, he never really came into contact with Swamp Thing at all. Like, his villainy had to do with dealing with like his wife, getting her off the board and getting Lucilia out of here, and then I guess forcing people or cajoling people into doing things, and just being a CEO, businessman, dirty corporate mob bossian type dude. And I like that. I like the fact that we didn't have to make Swamp Thing and Avery go head up. I mean, they had their little moment in the shack or whatever when he healed him, but that was it. There was never a moment where they were like originally killing Alec. It's that sniveling, horrible person kind of thing that I think made his character straight awesome, just incredible, and dude is just dope. So how do you feel about the action? That's my question for you. I'm gonna end with this question. How do you feel about the action this season throughout? I think the action, I think the action in the finale could have been ratcheted up, but I wasn't mad at it. I mean, dude got his jaw ripped off, like, and dude got stabbed in the throat. We definitely got some stuff, but I would have, like, remember the guy that got ripped into like 18 pieces? I would have liked to see more of that. Now I know you're probably gonna be like, oh, NERDSoul, you wrong. You just want to rip people to shreds. He's Swamp Thing, man. If we gonna rip it, let's rip. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Yo, dude's whole bottom mouth just went how. It was just gone. I thought that was sweet. I would have liked to see more. I would have liked to see more of a, like, you're trapped in here with me and I'm literally gonna tear y'all limb from limb. But of course, you know, hey, look, I guess you can only go but so far. Can't just be ripping people to shreds like you ain't got no sense. The horror aspect of this came through for me. Action came through. I would have liked a little more because it was the finale, but knowing how the series was shot and stuff like that, and then the ups and downs and also cutting the episodes back, I guess we got what we could get. And I wasn't mad at it. I love seeing the shoulders, you know, the spikes come from the shoulders. I love seeing that. And this show, man, at least, hey, we'll always have, like, hey, it came out. At least we had it instead of not having it. And then, since there's no way we'll ever know, Floronic Man versus Swamp Thing. You know, we see the post-credit scene where dude is like, Alec had all this power and didn't do anything with it or wouldn't know what to do with it, however he said it. But basically, you know, basically Abomination and the Hulk. And man, I would love to see that. I would love to see a season 2 where, you know, you have them struggling over who the green or who controls the green. And then maybe a third party with the darkness slowly creeping into other people's lives and stuff. Who knows? But that would have been awesome to see. I love this show, man. It's a shame it's gone. So guys, holla at me. I'm gonna holla at you. Down in them comments, let's talk Swamp Thing. It's a cool show. Awesome show. It ain't here no more. Oh man, but at least we did get a chance to chill out and see 10 episodes of a show that when I first heard about it, straight wrote it off. I wrote this show off as it was going to be corny. And I ended up being a fan, a big fan. Same with Doom Patrol, man. I thought Titans was going to be the only show that I liked. And DC Universe has come through, for better or for worse, with their service and how they're marketing it and all that. But man, some awesome episodes, some great characters, some really fun writing, some creepy stuff, and just, you know, environments and characters and interactions that you can get into. And it's a shame that it's gone. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna tell y'all, yo, just do whatever you can to try to get this show back. Cause all right, we've talked about it before. Okay, why did they just have to cancel it? You could have moved to another place. You could have shortened the order of episodes and tried to do more in 8 episodes or something like that. Like, you didn't have to just cancel it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Stranger Things has 8 episodes. They do kind of aight. You know what I'm saying? I like what they do. So, I mean, you could do it in 8, you know what I'm saying? And even if you go a little bit longer, say instead of, you know, an hour, your episode is like an hour and 10 minutes. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can make it work with 8 episodes. Like, you don't have to try to do a full 10B. Like, I just don't see why this had to get canned. But with that said, thank y'all for chilling with me. Thank DC, I guess, for at least making it. But before I bounce, I'm going to tell you guys to hit up ThatNERDSoul.com. That's right. Check me out right there. All my videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.ThatNERDSoul.com and pick yourself up a t-shirt player. Don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that NERDSoul. That's right. There's no better way that I can tell people that you like what you are watching. So, LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please be good to yourselves. Please be good to each other. And remember, whenever you got a good show, Just don't cancel it, man. Give it a chance. Peace.